de-age Shia LaBeouf, so we get a young Sam Witwicky. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching Bumblebee's Journey. This is just a web series we're talking about the Bumblebee prequel film from the Transformers Cinematic Universe. This is episode number 4, and of course we are here to talk about Bumblebee. And Bumblebee has been appearing a lot lately in the news. Most recently, he has been in this brand new product tie-in video, which was a Chinese ad for Coca-Cola. It features Bumblebee and Barricade duking it out in a giant droid death match because they got some unfinished business from 10 years ago when they first fought in the very first Transformers film in 2007. Also, Empire Magazine has released this explosive new movie still from Transformers Last Night. It shows Bumblebee blasting a TRF Sentry to bits. And of course, we are completely familiar with this scene because it was shown in the very first trailer for Transformers Last Night. But all this is promo for Transformers Last Night. We're here to talk about the Bumblebee prequel film. And I don't really have a whole lot of big news for you guys. All I really got is a little bit of progress. And what we have here is a brand new logo. Because last Saturday, Hasbro has applied for the logo trademark for Bumblebee. And it looks just like this. Here you go. This is the new official logo for Bumblebee. It's a silhouette of a stylized bee. It's kind of got these angry eyes and this really, really big stinger at the bottom. And there you have it. That's it. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it's kind of cool to know that the Bumblebee prequel film has its own identity. The previous 5 films were essentially Transformers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was an Autobot logo or Decepticon logo with the number associated with it. This is its own thing. This is a Bumblebee prequel film. It's a standalone film. Of course, it falls into the events and timeline of the grand scheme of the Transformers Cinematic Universe. But what we have here is going to be a very different film from the other films that we have seen. Now, when I looked at this logo at first glance, the very first thing that I was thinking of was that it kind of looks familiar. It kind of reminds me of that. You know what it is? It's that air freshener. That's right. It's that air freshener from the 1977 Camaro that was featured as Bumblebee's very first alt mode in the 2007 Transformers film. And then I took a look at the image of the air freshener. It's a completely different image. It's not the air freshener. It is completely different, but that's what I thought of from the very, very beginning. And then later on, I got this tweet from King Grimlock on Twitter, and he showed me this. And I was like, oh my god, this is cool. This looks totally legit. Bumblebee, a Travis Knight film, June 8th, 2018. And it's got a lot more life to this logo, not just a black and white logo. It's got more dimension to it, and it looks really, really cool. And I thought it was legit, but apparently it's fan art. It's from ToofW2005.com member Red Goblin, also known as Tunican from Turkey. And what Tunican has done is that he's put together some really incredible concept art. He's a very talented artist, and I've seen a lot of his work, and his stuff is so awesome, and this is also a really cool piece of work. It is basically the Bumblebee logo, but a lot more cooler. And I would almost think that this is totally legit. Like, they should actually use this, but the thing is that all they have here is Bumblebee. They should at least have the word Transformers Bumblebee. That way, you know, it's clearly identified as a Transformers film, but of course it's focused on Bumblebee. But in any case, it looks really, really cool. And when I look at this, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Ant-Man. It's got this superhero vibe to it, like kind of like Spider-Man and Ant-Man, and now here's Bumblebee. So I don't know if anyone feels the same way, but it's got that kind of vibe to it, and I think it's kind of cool. But anyways, that's all we got. All we got is a logo, and of course we are going to get more stuff as time goes by because they're getting closer to July, which is actually when they start filming. That's 2 months from now, and they still haven't announced any major cast members. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this video with regards to Bumblebee. But for now, let me spend a little bit of time doing some fan interaction. Now, most recently, I was posed a question about why do I keep on saying that Megatron ripped out Bumblebee's voice box. I thought that only happened in Transformers Prime. Well, actually, it happened before the events of the very first Transformers film, especially if you read the IDW official Transformers movie prequel. It's a comic book, and it actually explains the events of how Bumblebee actually lost his voice. And I'm just going to read you this little excerpt from Wikipedia. The Decepticons capture Bumblebee and torture him. Bumblebee keeps Megatron distracted long enough for the Allspark to be launched into space. A determined Megatron flies into space to find it, but not before punishing Bumblebee by crushing his voice processor. So there you have it. Megatron is the one who's responsible for Bumblebee losing his voice. The only question is, when does this actually take place? Because we already know that Bumblebee does not have a voice in the 2007 Transformers film, but we're also getting a Bumblebee prequel film. And I'm just thinking, is he going to have his voice in that film? He has to have his voice because, well, it's going to be kind of annoying if he's just going to speak throughout the entire movie with just the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that he has his voice back, which means that if Megatron is going to be crushing his voice processor, it has to have happened between the events of the Bumblebee film and the very first Transformers film. So that's when it would have to had happened. That means they would be utilizing a lot of space bridge technology, or rather going in and out from Earth to outer space to Cybertron, because they were bouncing back and forth between Cybertron and Earth because they've been on Earth for a while and now they're coming back. So I don't know. I'm just thinking that Megatron had to have done that between the events of the Bumblebee film and the 2007 Transformers film. It's all very confusing, but we're gonna know exactly what happens when the movie comes out, and we'll get a little bit more insight on it when we watch Transformers last night as well. Now, I would like to read you this this little, I guess, speculative piece from Jacques Biger, and here's what he had to say about the ending of the upcoming Bumblebee prequel film. I hope towards the end of Transformers B we see him scan Beaterbee. Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing ever. I like the idea of him being a Volkswagen. Heck, they could make a reason as to why he hates them when he damaged the one in the first film. I don't see how he could have his voice without continuity errors unless they say it was Barricade who tore his voice box out. I'm not going to comment on continuity errors, but I love the idea of Transformers Bumblebee ending so that it connects directly with the 2007 Transformers film. I love that idea. Imagine that. Bumblebee spin-off, prequel film, has all the events happening, you know, all this stuff happens, and later towards the end of the movie, like the last 5 minutes of the film, it goes into the, I guess 1984, if it doesn't already take place in 1984, and then he, you know, he's a Volkswagen Bug, and then later on, it fast forwards to 2007. And then that's when he scans the 1977 Camaro. And then they use digital technology to de-age Shia LaBeouf. So we get a young Sam Witwicky. And then the movie ends. That would be super cool. And I love that idea. I hope they do something like that, because that would be absolutely brilliant. Because I always felt that the Transformers films always end kind of abruptly. I just feel like it's like they finish the big fight and then there comes Linkin Park, you know, the music, you know what I'm saying? Or Imagine Dragons. But I would love if they ended it this way. It would be a way more satisfying ending because you know where the journey takes you and you get to see how everything's all connected. And I think that's very, very cool. But anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. It's a pretty short episode, but all we really got to talk about is the logo. That's all we got. But I love the idea of the movie ending so that it connects directly with the 2007 Transformers film. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. As always, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Okay, next we have a shot that zooms in on these photographs on the wall. They're also framed